Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to another episode of Shoebox Sessions. I'm your host, DJ Bumble, and we are here with our KSSU's very own
Sierra Noelle. Hey, everybody.
Woo! Since this is the last Shoebox Sessions of the semester, we are very thankful to have our very own Sierra Noelle, a KSSU DJ, has lived a million lives, it would seem.
Pretty much, yeah. Whoa! We got things dropping in here.
You know what? Dropping it like it is hot.
Yes.
Dare I even say. All right. Well, we'll fix that in a moment. In the meantime, thank you so much for having you on. Shout out to Prod Yeshua for our theme music, the Shoebox Sessions theme music. We're in like season 4 or 5 or something. I don't know. Everyone else is better at keeping track of it than me. I've only been here for years.
Math is hard.
Exactly. It's unnecessary. The passage of time, truly. So, welcome in, Sierra Noelle. I need to ask, how would you describe your music? Because I feel like I have a way that I think I would describe it, but I do not think it's right.
Yeah, so it's always funny because I always feel like I don't really have much to compare my music to. But it's definitely like sad pop with rap in there. Some of my songs are just singing, some of my songs are just rapping, and it's mostly based on mental health and my journey with that. I've struggled with PTSD, anxiety, depression for most of my life, and music is really the thing that was able to get me through it. And so I always try to say, like, I like to make music to help people understand that they're not alone.
I think that that's a really present theme when it comes to also, man, these mics are not being loud right now.
Yeah, I can't hear myself in my headphones, but I'll figure that out.
Oh, that's just because of how the mics work.
Cool.
Mics, but
no worries, just making sure, because when I'm on air I can hear myself.
Oh yeah, hopefully we're about to find out, so
we'll figure it out. It's all good.
We will. And you know what, worst comes to worst, we ball.
Yep. I mean, I've fallen on stage before many times. I've done lots of weird things on stage. So, you know, most people, they can't even see me. So it's all good. You just hear me right now. So if I were to fall on the floor, you probably wouldn't even know.
Exactly.
So we just keep going.
The listeners will never know that you are currently doing this from the floor.
Yeah, you know what? Sometimes you just got to get on the floor. You just got to sing from the floor.
I know, right? If you really want to check right now if Sierra Noelle is singing from the floor, just in case, you should check out our KSSU YouTube channel at KSSU Sparky. Obligatory plug aside, of which we will be posting this video of our very own Sierra Noelle. To kind of lead us in, you have a couple songs here today for us.
Yes, I do. I'm very excited.
Which one are you planning on singing first?
So the first song is called Haunting Memories, and it is the song I usually play the most often because it's the song that I feel like I've gotten the most reception from when people have heard it. A lot of people come up to me and they talk to me about it, and it's the way I like to describe it is it's a song about my PTSD and how the hard parts of your life sometimes feel like it's what defines you, and if you feel like that's what you're stuck in, and then as time goes on, hopefully you realize that even though you deal with these triggers and you deal with these hard things that are really hard to describe sometimes, that you are more than that, and you are worth life and worth to keep going. And so the song is called Haunting Memories, and it is like one of my favorite songs I've written.
How long did it take you to write this? Because I believe this is the only one that's like fully out on your YouTube channel.
Yeah, so I made a little demo music video thing for it, actually as a project for a school project for last semester. The recording is mainly just like a demo recording that I did myself, but I probably wrote this song in an hour or two, I would say. Usually when I listen to like write a song, I write it usually pretty quick, and if I don't like it right away, I'll kind of save it for later. But if I really like it and feel it, it usually comes out pretty quickly.
All right, well, let's hear it.
right how many years it's been since then. One after another, I'm slipping undercover, and it feels like I'm sinking inside. Is there gonna be a day where I don't feel the pain no more? The images in my head won't take all my breath away. Is there a hole in my chest? Is this pain I'm feeling death? Can't decipher this pain inside. Where do I run or hide when the pain is inside me? The worst days of my life turn into these. When I was 16, I thought I was gonna die, but 10 years later, I finally learned how to live for myself, not for anybody else. Always feared what would happen to my mom if suddenly one day I was gone, but I finally learned how to live for myself. Always wanted to survive, but surviving isn't living. I finally learned, be happy for every day I was given. I sing this for the people who didn't live to hear this song, 'cause through our voices, their stories will live on.
And welcome back. You are listening to Shoebox Sessions here on KSSU, with KSSU.com or the KSSU app. Or if you're really, really cool, you're one of our KSSU YouTube listeners. Can you tell I was told to promote something different this time? And so...
Hey, that's where I listen to the Shoebox Sessions. I like watching it, so it's fun to watch on YouTube. So
Exactly. You know what? You're the ultimate promo here for this. A
Oh,
big Shoebox watcher.
yes.
You really love to see it.
Oh, for sure. Especially for me, sitting in the studio right now singing, it feels so weird because I'm so used to moving around a stage and so it feels very different for me to just be sitting in a chair doing it. So it's interesting to watch people perform versus just listening to a song.
Also, you have to get closer to the mic because I think that you were super quiet or
Oopsie, probably because when I was singing I was super loud, so
yeah,
that's probably why.
Because when you're singing you have to be all the way over
oh
here.
for sure,
I get it.
Yeah.
But when you're talking you have to be all the way over here. It's this weird thing with these mics. It really is.
Yeah, I mean my audio production class last semester, we had a whole section on microphones and all the different microphones and all that. That was fun. Mic patterns and all that kind of stuff. So
we should require that here at KSSU.
It's helpful. I definitely am glad I had that class last semester because it definitely helped me do my show here because I knew about all the levels and all the things, and it was really nice. It was fun.
Kind of speaking of KSSU and your show, so
Yeah.
you have a show called In Your Fields. In
our fields. Yeah, because I wanted to
keep messing
include
that
the
up.
listeners as well. So it's not just me or just them. It's us going through it together.
It's everyone's fields.
Yes, exactly.
Because everyone's got some.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I love my show here. It's in our fields, and every week is a different emotion. And I talk about usually every single song and why that song is on the playlist for that week and what it has to do with, and how last week was anger, and I talked about how anger can be shown in so many different ways. It can be shown from numbness, it can be shown from what people typically think of anger, it can be shown in sadness. So every week it's just we go through different emotions together. Sometimes it's multiple emotions, sometimes it's one. It's really a good platform for I feel to do something different, because a lot of times on radio stations you just hear the happy songs, and I wanted to remind people that it's okay to have emotions other than happy.
For sure. Is there a favorite episode or emotion that you've covered?
Oh, that's a good one. I think this isn't really the most emotional one, but I think one of my favorites was I did a nostalgia week.
Ooh.
And I was I was trying to debate. I was is nostalgia an emotion? And then I thought about Inside Out 2, and they had nostalgia in there, and it was an emotion. So I was yes, if they can say it's an emotion, I can too. And the reason I love that one so much is because our big glass window that we have here in the studio, I had people come up to me and sing the lyrics with me. So we were singing High School Musical together, through the glass.
Yeah.
And so that was really fun to just connect with people through that. And then there was also another week, I think it was sad and hopeful or something. I'm not sure. I don't remember which episode it was, but there was a song that I did about speaking to your younger self and stuff, and I had a group of older ladies that walked by and they sat there just like listening to it, and that was just really cool to hear because it was like not the type of music I would expect them to listen to, and so it was cool to just like see them stop and just like actually take in and listen to it. You know, it's nice when people take the time to stop and listen. So
for sure,
that was a fun one.
That's wonderful. Do you have like, you kind of mentioned earlier that you're a student here, correct? And so you're doing a lot of stuff in your studies around music, around production, and you're also trying to like clearly get your music up and out there. How have like, where's the intersection between like your studies and your passion? Because we've had some people who like we had Marilee on last month for local music week, who's also, she used to be a music student but couldn't do it both professionally and within like her own like hobby and passion. Yeah,
so music is something that I have always been afraid of going too far into the work side of it. And when I mean the work side of it, I mean other than the performance aspect, more like coaching or teaching or things like that. I've always been a little afraid to do that because I don't want to ruin that passion that I have for it, especially because it is my therapy. Mm-hmm. So the way that I've kind of gone about it is, you know, I can't really imagine myself doing anything other than this. And so I've also had a huge passion for film. Specifically music videos. So it's interesting because when I'm in my film classes, I'm actually a film major. And so when I'm in my film classes, people are like talking to me about movies and stuff. And I'm like, I actually don't know that many movies. It's more TV shows and music videos. Because when I look at music videos, at least back when I was younger, you know, music videos are starting to not even really become much of a thing anymore, which is really sad. But music videos have always been another way to project the emotion of the song. Even if it's a completely different interpretation of the song than the artist originally meant. And so I'm actually in school right now for a film major with a music minor because I want to do either music videos or concert videos. And so I actually, when I go to concerts all the time, I actually record them and upload them to my other YouTube channel where I post like all the concerts, and it's usually like front row, beginning to end of the show. And so it's really cool because I have people from like other countries and stuff who reach out. And it's funny though, because sometimes I'll be singing like while I'm at the concert, and people write in the comments, they're like, who's that singing? I'm like, that would be me. I'm like, I hope it wasn't too distracting. But I'm like, even if it was, like, sorry. Like,
oh no, I'm enjoying this concert I went to.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, no.
Like, people always tell me, they're like, oh, like, I don't like when people record or like, you shouldn't record the entire show. And I'm like, I've gotten so used to recording it without looking through my phone, because usually I'm front row, so I like put my arm at the barricade and then I don't even watch it through my phone. So it's not like I'm ruining the experience. I get what I call concert brain, where when I go to shows, I'm fully present, but then after the show, I like can't remember anything. And so I like to have the videos to remind me of what happened, especially when cool things happen, like when I got to rap with Jessie J at her concert. Or the singer JoJo from the early 2000s, not JoJo Siwa. I always have to clarify, but JoJo from the early 2000s, like I got to sing with her before. So like sometimes things just happen, and it's like if I wasn't recording that, nobody would have believed me. like, oh yeah, I rapped at Jessie J's concert last night. They're like, no, you didn't. I'm like, yes, I did.
They're like, no way.
Yeah, I'm like, I did the rap in Bang Bang, which is, you know, Jessie J, Nicki Minaj, Ariana Grande. Like, to be able to do the rap for that at her show was so cool.
Yeah, oh my god,
it was awesome.
When was that?
That was a while ago. I'd say probably like 2018, 2019. It was before COVID. I know that.
Oh, wow.
Because Jessie J's been kind of in a hiatus for a while. She has some stuff coming out. But yeah, it was so cool. Like, I met her before the show, and I told her that I was a singer and a rapper. And so she gave me the mic during it. It was just like, do it. And I was like, you know what? I'm taking this moment. Like, it was amazing. Yeah. It was so cool. It was funny too, because my mom was up in the balcony because she wanted to go to the show as well. And like, this wasn't planned at all. So like, she's up there, and then she's like, oh my gosh, that's my daughter. Like, what? it was hilarious. It was like, yeah, music and production and everything. It's like, it all kind of comes together in certain ways, but it also is like, you have to keep them separate too, because if you go too much into the work mode of trying to be perfect or trying to teach it too much, you might lose that passion. Like, my best friend, she's a singing coach, and as she's been doing that for years, and I've noticed less and less of her performing, And I really miss that because, like, me and her used to perform together all the time. And even though she doesn't live here anymore, it's still, like, sad to see that she doesn't do that anymore because that's, like, how we became friends. So I want to make sure that, like, even though I love performing, like, I don't want to take too much away from the funness of it. Sorry, that was a really long explanation to a simple question. But yes.
No, it's okay. That's why we have this show.
You know, I could talk about music and stuff for years. I mean, I am just turned 28 and I have been in the music world, I'd say, since I was about 13 or 14. That's when I really started performing. I started performing a lot when I was about 14 years old. I was in a girl group and we used to do lots of really cool shows and stuff. And it's interesting as the years have gone to notice the differences of just the music world in general. It's just so different.
Yeah. Well, I would love to expand a little bit more upon that. But before we do, I'd love to hear what you have next for us.
Yeah. So this next song is a rap song. And it's called Back in Time. It is a song that's kind of funny. We were just talking about when I was younger. So this song is actually about wanting to go back to a time when you weren't as stressed, you weren't as afraid, and you didn't have as many worries. And so yeah, the song's called Back in Time, and it is a song that I wrote that I really love to perform. I think I've only performed it maybe once or twice. I know I performed it 1 year at Placer County Pride, but I'm not sure where else I've performed it because sometimes I just pick songs out of my repertoire in my pocket and I'm just like, this is what I'm going to do today.
All right, let's hear it.
Want to go back in time to a time when I felt fine, but the problem is I've been sick ever since I was in grade 9. The thoughts in my head won't go, but they tell me I should go out of this world. Already know, feel it in my soul. Oh yeah, here we go again. Pack my bags, maybe trip again. Go back in time to when I was 9, when I felt fine, but it's a matter of time. Feelings are crushing me, telling me what I'm supposed to be, but the best me, left with the depressed me, is getting to me. Want to go back in time. Want to go back in time. Want to go back in time to a time when I felt fine, getting older every day, but still I can't stay sane. The thoughts inside my brain, they echo till I can't contain. The thoughts in my head make me feel wrong. The thoughts in my head make me feel stupid. The thoughts in my head tell me I'm worthless. Please tell me that I have a purpose. Please tell me that they're wrong. Please tell me that I'm worth it. Please tell me that I'm worth it, 'cause I feel like I can't hold it in. Can't hold it in. Yeah, I can't believe that this isn't really me. It's just the thoughts in my brain that tell me to go away. But it's not my real beliefs. It's not what I really believe. It's the mess inside my mind that makes me all go mad. Write my thoughts on my notepad, 'cause I feel like they're ironclad. But maybe if I write them down, maybe they won't surround everything around me. 'Cause right now they're surrounding and becoming everything I can be. I wanna go back in time. I wanna go back in time. I wanna go back in time to a time when I felt fine.
And welcome back. You're listening to Shoebox Sessions here on KSSU, KSSU.com, the KSSU app, or KSSU Sparky, our YouTube channel.
All the things.
Exactly. One of these days, we're just going to start cutting out all the times that I, like, plug. Because I say that they tell me to do this. They really don't.
Just make a reel of just like all the times you've said it and just like back to back to back to back to back.
Oh,
and that can just be a commercial in itself. Just you just saying it over and over again.
That would be so funny. And like the echo of like me saying it like tens of times over the last few years. That's really funny.
It's like I'm always like, Mom, you gotta download the KSSU app, and she's like, okay. Like, and I always like telling everybody. Like, my mom even got her coworkers to start listening to my show, so that was pretty funny.
Oh,
shout out to them.
no, for real. My mom used to play my show at work in the office, and it would freak me out because she would be like, oh, that's a great song. My office enjoys it. And I'm like, I don't know if your office is my audience for this
Right.
one.
I mean, maybe they like it. You never know. I mean, I would never thought my grandpa would listen to my show, but he does. So,
You know, I also never thought my grandpa would listen to my show, but he also does.
he probably hates the music that I play, but it's okay. He still listens, and that's awesome.
You know, that's how it be. It really do. On the bright side, my grandpa likes the music that I play, and I really did not expect that in the slightest. I was like, oh, I'm going to play some stuff, and this is going to be the click-off song.
Oh, yeah, no. My grandparents would be like country and classic rock and roll, and that's it. And that's just not me. I'm like, nah, turn it off.
Putting on some swing, some Frank Sinatra.
It's like,
in my That's Life era.
my grandma literally has like 3 or 4 Elvis tattoos. You would never know, though, looking at her, though. It's really funny because a lot of people just see her as like this cute little old lady with like bright red hair and all this. And I'm like, she has like 10 tattoos that are just hidden. You guys have no clue. Like, she used to ride a Harley. Like, she's
Y'all don't get how
lady.
punk rock this woman is.
My family is so weird. We're all so different from each other. It's like you see pictures and it's like, how? It's so funny. It's like, makes no sense.
Kind of going into your family and your past. In a lot of
Yeah.
your songs, you talk about your mother.
Yes,
or at
I
least
do.
in some of them, you talk
Yeah.
about your mother and her struggle. And so, if you're comfortable with that, would you like to expand a little bit on that?
Yeah. So I am, like I said, 28 years old, and I still live with my mom. Me and my mom have been just the two of us my entire life. I actually talked about this on my radio show last week, that I have never met my father, and I never really knew much of his family until I turned 18, and they kind of just appeared in my life and then disappeared. So me and my mom have been always very, very close. And so as I've struggled with my mental health, one of the things that really kept me going was being afraid of how my mom would feel if I was gone, because me and her are just together all the time. And so I worry oftentimes, like, if I were to be gone one day, like, how would she handle it? And that's, one of the things that at first is what really got me to keep going. And, I mentioned that, like you said, in a lot of my songs, one of them says, I always wondered what would happen to my mom if suddenly one day I was gone. And I have learned over the years to use that at first and then use that as a way to kind of learn how to live life myself. And as I've grown and as my mom and me have grown, she has really helped me be okay with myself. Especially with dealing with PTSD, anxiety, growing up, realizing I was bisexual but not knowing what that was. I had a lot of hatred for myself, and I really, really struggled at first, and still do. I always say, like, I'm never going to be the person to say that I'm totally fine, because mental health is not a car wash. You don't go in and then come out perfect. And me and her, she has been my rock, and I'm so grateful for her. She used to work till 11 o'clock at night just to be able to afford for me to go to singing lessons and for me to keep doing things so I could perform. She used to drive me around to auditions all the time, and she has been the biggest inspiration in my life, and I don't know what I would do without her. And so I think about that often. If I feel that way with her, like, I would never want to leave her, because that would crush her, but also, like, I had to also learn how to live life for myself, which was a really difficult task, but something that has been really rewarding, and has been a weird feeling. The last 6 months I have been doing pretty well, and I never like to really say that because I'm always afraid of that. My mom will be like, you seem like you're doing fine. I'm like, I don't use that word. I'm working on it. Like, me and her have come to learn what words, like, I don't say I have goals. I say I have intentions, because if I have a goal and I don't do it, I'll be mad at myself. But if I have an intention and I don't do it, then I can just keep trying. So me and her have been inseparable, and having her always be there for me has really been what's inspired me in life and inspired me in my music a lot.
That's so sweet.
Yeah. Mom, if you're listening, I love you. And if you're not listening, why aren't you listening?
Shout out Sierra's mother. And if you are not listening, guess where you could watch it. It feels like a really bad segue after all of that, but that really is a beautiful story. I think that it's something that especially people with mental health issues, and especially when you experience this issue of like, especially, I forgot to give the trigger warning earlier. I think
Sorry.
It's okay. I think this is a good time to say that going forward into this show, and especially with the next few songs we're going to play, there will be mentions of self-harm and suicide, as well as depression and a lot of other mental health issues. So if you are sensitive or at any point you need to click off the video,
yes.
I
did cut a few of the words out just to make it a little less, but yes, please know that is in there. If you would need to, take care of yourself right now, and feel free to come back in about 15 minutes when Sparky will be back on playing his normal stuff, or in about an hour after the show around 7 when Through the Years will be on. So, but with the warning given, thank you all so much for sticking around if you are still here. In the meantime, you mentioned a little bit about experiencing life as a child performer with your girl group when you were about 13, 14? Yeah, I started taking lessons when I was 12, almost 13, and then I started performing a lot when I was 14.
And how was that experience? It's something that we kind of talked a little bit off air, and we've talked a little bit about at events, that these are things that aren't, they weren't published. At least not that I could find in the 30 minutes I spent researching you.
Yeah, so it's interesting because our group was a weird type of girl group. So we were a girl group, but we also were kind of a girl group advertisement for our singing studio that we worked pretty much with. But we did a lot. We had rehearsals multiple times a week. We had shows pretty much every single weekend. And I loved it, but it was one of those things that you really had to know what you were getting yourself into. Like, we had auditions every year for these groups, and there'd be swarms of teenage girls that would come, and it was not everybody that would get in. And the first time I auditioned, I actually didn't make it, and it crushed me. But it also taught me that in the music world, you really have to work hard. And that's what got me with my best friend, because I thought was the best one. And I was like, I want to be like her. And I learned from her. And, we used to do huge performances. Like, we used to perform at Disneyland every single summer. We opened for Zendaya, which is crazy because she doesn't even really do music anymore. We semi-opened for Little Mix. I say semi-open because we didn't get to be on the stage, but we were asked to perform outside for the crowd while they were waiting and stuff. We used to do all these events all the time, and it was a lot of work and really, really hard. We used to perform at State Fair, and we got calls from American Idol and X Factor at the time and all these shows. And it's interesting because, when people think of child performers, they think of these huge mega stars. And I can't even imagine what I went through. I can't even imagine what those mega stars went through, because I'm just some, young, at the time, some young teenage girl from Rockland who is just doing this. Nobody knows who I am, but there's videos out there if you know where to find them. But it was hard, but it was also really rewarding because, I love doing it, but it's hard when you're in a group of people because, you throw a bunch of teenage girls together who don't know each other that well or do know each other that well, and stick them together. And we had a performance at Disneyland one time, and we were in a hotel all together, and it was madhouse. It was crazy. You just get 7 teenage girls in a room, and it was interesting, but it was so much fun, but so rewarding and stressful, and everything you would expect it to be, it was.
So about how long did you do that? How much of your life was in that scene?
Yeah, so I started at the studio that I was at when I was 13. I was there till I was about 18, maybe 20-ish. But I really performed a lot, I'd say about from 14 to 18. So I didn't really have a normal high school life. I would always have shows. I used to joke that I needed a t-shirt that said I have rehearsal, because we were told at the beginning, you're not going to football games, you're not going to dances, you're not going to birthday parties, you have to be here for this. And if you don't care enough, then we have somebody else, because it was, you know, a chance for us to really learn what it was like. And even though it was really, really difficult, I really appreciated that, because it gave me more of an appreciation for artists and what they do to create their craft.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so kind of like going forward into a lot of your original music, the stuff that you're putting out now.
Yeah.
How has this experience being a child star and going through basically a very different childhood than everyone else, you know? So experiencing this different childhood, especially the way that it has affected your mental health, how has that affected your art?
Oh, yeah. So, you know, I definitely had a very different life. I couldn't really ever make friends very easily because I was never able to go to things. I ended up leaving public school and going on independent study because I just had a really, really hard time in school, because I got bullied a lot. You know, people would be like, oh, you think that you're so cool and you're doing these things. I'm like, I never said I thought I was cool. I'm just doing these things because I love it. Mm-hmm. You know, like there was a time where I was on the wait list for X Factor. And so I was like next in line to be on the show if somebody dropped out. And I told somebody about it, and everybody started thinking that I thought I was so cool for it. And I was like, no, it's just exciting, you know? And so growing up as a person, especially with mental health issues, and not really having very many friends was really, really hard, because I really attached myself to those that I did have. And when I lost those friends in high school, suddenly they kind of just dropped off the face of the earth, didn't really want to be friends with me anymore. I really isolated myself for a really long time. Like, I'm still trying to learn how to talk to people, because like when I talk to people, oftentimes it's a coping mechanism, and it's like I just am doing it because I feel awkward. Mm-hmm. But like I have learned to use music and writing as my friend, because it's like that is always going to be there for me, and that's never going to abandon me. So it's been interesting, because, you know, being afraid of success, being afraid of having friends, and being afraid that they're going to be judging you, and being afraid of judging myself, it's been very weird, because like, you know, when we're in a group, we are put against each other, but we're also supposed to be friends too. Mm-hmm. So when we're in the group, it was like, oh, so-and-so is not doing as good as so-and-so. And it's really messes you up in the head. And so even though I was already going through a lot of mental health stuff, it has definitely been an inspiration for being an advocate, because I did not have that when I was younger. You know, we played a Demi Lovato song earlier, because that Demi has been the main rock in music inspiration for me. And so being able to have somebody that is open and honest with their music and be like, hey, I'm not perfect, I'm not fixed, I'm not, you know, this all-knower person. I would love to be able to be that inspiration for younger people, and even people my own age, to understand that it's okay to have a different life than what you expected to have.
Well, that was really well said, I think. Very well put together. And kind of talking about this sort of air of you can't make a mistake. What is the next song that you're going to play for us today?
Yeah, so I have 2 songs. We could either go do that one or the other one. It's up to you. But I have one song called Mistake, and I have another song called Friends. And so I think Friends might be a good...
I was going to say, there were 2 segues that could have gone very well into there.
You know, that wasn't planned, but I think that Friends might be a good song to do next. Because that song is about when you're young and having this easier chance of making friends and being in school and talking to people, and how when you become an adult, it's like that's just gone, and it's so much harder. And so, the next song is called Friends. I want to do that one next, because it's just... I mean, through the lyrics, you'll understand exactly why it fits what we were just talking about. So
wonderful. Let's hear it.
Seems like yesterday I was staring at my phone, texting my friends. Hey, you wanna come over? Sleepover after sleepover. Where did the time go? Watching movies and just laughing. Memories of times when it was easy making friends, but now I have no friends. What happened? Where did the time go? Where did all of they go? Say I'm fine, but I'm lying. I'm lonely and I'm crying. They're walking through just smiling. Well, I feel like I'm dying. Yesterday I was staring at my phone, no one on the end. Oh, how I miss them. 'Cause I'm 25, I wonder, do they miss me like they did when I was 15? 'Cause they're all getting married and having kids, while I'm just trying to live. What happened? Where did the time go? Where did all of they go? Say I'm fine, but I'm lying. I'm lonely and I'm crying. What happened? Where did the time go? Where did all of they go? Say I'm fine, but I'm lying. I'm lonely and I'm crying. They're walking through just smiling. Well, I feel like I'm dying. Yeah, that was Friends.
Awesome. We'll skip that last song, I think, for a combination of sensitivity and time reasons.
Agreed.
But for anybody who wants to listen to Sierra Noelle's picks in their own time, I suppose.
Why not?
Yeah, why not? If you would like to listen to
It's Sky Daddy, and it's Don't Talk About It sad version, because there's two different versions of the song.
with an X over the I. I was trying to figure out how to pronounce that.
It's Sky Daddy, but there's an X over the A.
I'm sure that's fine.
Yeah.
So, for all of our audio listeners at home, where can people find you?
Yeah, so unfortunately right now I'm not really on streaming services yet. I'm hopefully going to be able to work that out when I get back from my Disney college program next semester. I will be back in January, and I will hopefully have some of that stuff done. I am on TikTok at Sierra Noelle Music. It's SIERRANOELLE Music. Also on Instagram. I'm try to be pretty much everywhere. I have some performances coming up soon too, so I'm really excited about. I'm performing at a wellness event in Roseville. That's all like mental health based. I possibly am performing at Placer Pride this year. I say possibly because I submitted it, but I also haven't heard back yet, but nobody has. But I've performed there the last 2 years, so I'm hoping to be able to perform at that. That's a really cool event, especially because, you know, like I mentioned, growing up being bisexual in Placer County, I never really knew what that even was. Like, I never even heard the word gay until I was like middle school. And so I love that we can spread the joy and show people that you're not alone in that either, you know. So yeah, so hopefully I also have my YouTube channel, which is, you know, just Sierra Noelle. It's, you know, you can find me lots of places. Instagram is where I usually post the most. I usually post a lot of stories, a lot of things. Yeah, I am on there a lot.
Are you working towards like any big projects? Like, are you thinking about one day there's going to be an album, an EP?
Yeah, I really want to. I have so many songs. And I hear people ask me oftentimes on my shows, like, hey, are you going to record this? And I'm like, I really, really want to. It's just honestly a matter of money and being a college student and trying to figure out how to produce it, because I am not a very good producer. I have honestly tried. I have taken many production classes. I'm actually in one right now here at Sac State.
It's difficult.
I'm just not good at it, especially with editing my own voice. It's something that is really hard for me. So I have a friend who is a producer, and I am going to try to reach out to him and see if I can pay him to do some of my music when I get back in January. And so hopefully I can get a bunch of these songs out. I have a song that I performed a long time ago called Serenity that I've been wanting to release for a really long time, because that is the story of the day that I almost passed away. And so it's literally a story that goes through that day. And I won a big award for that. It was like a Be the Change competition, and it was in a big newspaper and all this kind of stuff. And so I have a lot of songs that tell a lot of different meaningful stories that I would really, really love to get out there, hopefully sooner than later.
Well, we're looking forward to it. In the meantime, where can people find you here on KSSU?
Yeah, so I am here every Thursday at 10 a.m. and I play a show. I don't know why I said play. I do a show called In Our Feels with Sierra Noelle, which I plug my name in there, where I go through the different emotions that we feel every so often, and how it's okay to feel your emotions that you feel and to not be afraid, and that I always have a reminder that you can feel any emotion, but if you feel it getting too bad, to please reach out to get help. And that if you're a student here at Sac State, we have counseling services here. I've used even recently, and that, you know, it's okay to feel the feelings that you feel, and you do not need to hide that, because bottling it up will not usually help. It may feel like it helps in the moment, but trust me, it doesn't end well.
So tune in to Sierra Noelle's In Our Feels with Sierra Noelle whenever you can on KSSU, and stay tuned for more. This is our last Shoebox Sessions of the semester.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been so much fun. I'm so excited.
Of course. Thank you so much for coming on. We've been trying to platform a lot more of our DJs and KSSUs. You know, we have so many talented people here, and you are undoubtedly one of them.
Thank you.
And so thank you for being able to come, and thank you for also being able to come very last minute.
Oh, no worries. I was just like, I saw the message and I was like, oh, yes, I can do it, but let me get it figured out. I was like, let me figure out what I'm doing, and yes.
All right.
I'm like, the answer is definitely yes.
Well, I have been your host, DJ Bumble. I will catch you on the flip side. You can listen to me most likely next week for Full Transparency, the show in which we talk about whatever we want, whenever we want, and
That
probably
sounds like
overshare quite a bit. You should. You should come on. And that's Wednesdays typically after this time slot from 6 to 7. Stay tuned in an hour from 7 to 8 for Brit. I lost my breath there. Stay tuned for in about an hour from 7 to 8 for DJ John Dell. Oh man, I'm tripping myself up. I normally don't listen to myself.
It's okay. Breathing is important.
I know, you would think, right?
If you don't breathe, it doesn't end well.
Listen to Through the Years from DJ John Dell in about an hour. And either way, we have loved having you all here for Shoebox Sessions.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you all so much, and stay tuned for next semester.